Keeping it moving with part 6. I pulled this out, didn't know what it was, and then, you know, since it was on top and I was making a new video, I opened it up, and lo and behold, it's got an Andy Harlow Suppressa la Fluta, or Flauta, sorry. And Andy Harlow, I can't talk about what Billy Joe Walker Jr., I cannot talk about him because I don't know who that is. But somehow or another, this CD ended up in here. It was a digipack. So during the flooding, I'm sure that the digipack got ruined, the case got ruined, but then you got Andy Harlow here on this, what's called a limited edition, and that's what they threw in those digipacks. They called them limited editions. A lot of them got ruined. This, you know, it's in decent shape, so it's good to go. But I remember him having better albums than this. It's particularly the album that has the song Las Mujeres on it. And this one, Ay Que Bueno, which is the first song, is really good. And El Primer Montuno. I shouldn't spend too much time talking about the Latin stuff. You know, I should do different stuff for that. Wilco, my wife likes this. I bought it because my wife liked it. I don't know that much about it. Don't really listen to it. Not really my cup of tea. This is a Dire Straits, Money for Nothing. I remember the music video. It's one of those I bought just to collect. You know, it is what it is. It's Dire Straits. Their guitar player is really good. You listen to a song like Sultans of Swing. It's good stuff. Rush 2012. I'm not the biggest fan of this album. Here's an interesting picture. Every time you pull this out, you need to look at that. What were these guys thinking? And I think they were, yeah, they were druggies to an extent. And that was the way that they wanted to dress, and hey, more power to you. It's very Ayn Rand inspired type deal. It's definitely not, for whatever, you know, this is one of their most famous albums. It's definitely not my favorite. Do I like it? Yes, I like it. I like it a lot, but it's not as good as the ones I showed earlier, like Fly By Night or Signals. It's not nearly as good as those. Typica 73 Live. This is early 2000s. It's got Baila Que Baila on it. It's good. It's got a lot of good players on it. You know, Adalberto Santiago, Tito Allen, all those people, you know, Orestes Valato. I've never tried to say that name, but that timbales player is incredible. This is a good live album. Is it, you know, is it really that spectacular? They came out with a live album in the 70s. It was much better than this. I don't want to crap on it because I would love to see them live. It's a good album. It's a great band. They were the band that came out right after Ray Barretto. Don't want to talk too much about the Latin stuff. I want to get into it because I want to show it respect, and that's why I started talking about it, but I really should have just let it go. Susie and the Banshees. I got a collection of Susie and the Banshees. This is not the one I like the most. I do like Susie and the Banshees. You know, it's just really, it's probably, it reminds me a lot of a band. I can't think of the name of the band, but they got that famous song Crocodile. Dang, I'm losing what I'm thinking about. I'm glad these videos are mostly for me. Susie and the Banshees I like. I just can't talk about them right now for whatever reason. Steelheart. I remember buying this with a batch of CDs that somebody just kind of gave me at a thrift shop just to be nice. I go over there to it's at Habitat Humanity. They made like a record room for like 2 weeks, and it was really hot, and then it got hot, and there was no air conditioning in there, so they got rid of it, but all their CDs and stuff were in there. And I went there one day, and they gave me like 100 CDs for like 10 bucks and a couple records. And they were doing it just to be nice because I was in there all the time. I bought this recently at Goodwill, and I liked it a lot. It's John Taylor on piano, Mark Jackson double bass, and Joey Barone. When it comes to this EMI stuff, where can I point? ECM, I'm sorry. When it comes to this ECM stuff, it's just good ambient jazz. They do really good productions, and you can say they're hitting. It's all good. You can say it's hit and miss, but like I say, it's all good. This right here is particularly good, and when you find one that's a gem, it's a gem. And this one, I remember listening to it a few times and automatically being into it. They have so many players. They do have their house players, You know, the ones that play on a lot of their albums. These ones I didn't recognize when I bought it, except for maybe Mark Johnson. But they're good stuff. Cal Tejada, I need to take a listen to this. Also, it's one of those, I showed you Vince Guaraldi from earlier. I bought this with that Art Farmer CD from earlier. I was psyched to buy it. They are a jazz band. Like, if they had a congo player, I would definitely want to listen to it. If they had a percussion player, I definitely want to listen to it. Why? Because Cal Tejada always has really good Latin jazz. Now, that Midnight Blue I showed you earlier by... And I can probably grab it real quick because it should be on the bottom here. This one right here with a conga player doesn't work for me. It's not Latin jazz. It's just jazz that they threw a conga player into. This dude would play cowbells. You could dance to it if he had a, you know, a conga player, which a lot of times he does. He did some stuff with Daddy Palmieri. He did just some really good Latin jazz stuff that you can actually dance to. He did some live stuff that you can actually dance to. He's an incredible artist. He's a vibraphone player. That is, I want to say that's him right there. It's one of them with the glasses. It's one of those guys. He's really good. The compositions that he does are really good. I can't say enough good things about him. The Mars Volta. I don't know what Mars Volta this is. And I love Mars Volta. And when I look at this, I don't think Mars Volta. I know about 4 or 5 of their albums. I wish I could think of the one I really like off the top of my head. It's one that's got like a body and a body bag and they're walking off with it. They are the Rodriguez brothers. They are from Texas. They do specialized progressive rock. Man, they got some of the best percussion in a progressive rock band because they're Spanish. They got some of the best progressive rock in a band you can hear. I don't think I've ever heard this. And for some reason it's got a few albums in it. This is, I think, another Mars Volta. And then it's got a Burn. I don't know how I picked this up. I was happy that I picked it up, but all their albums I have downloaded. And there's a couple of them that I really like. Let me pick these up real quick. I'm trying to think of the names of them. There's 2 of them that I listen to exclusively, you know, just to really absorb. And now I can't think of the names of them. Go figure. You know, I would love to be able to talk about those albums, but they just don't come to mind. This is, I think, from a video game. I saw this at Goodwill and looked it up, and it was worth money. And then I listened to it, and it was really good. It's some kind of ambience, orchestral music. Sounds of Eurasia, something like that, and it's Japanese or Oriental. And this I've listened to a few times in the car with my kids, and it's good. It is. It's good. It's ambient orchestral music, kind of, you know, just kind of the best way to describe it. XYZ, I picked it up with that other one, the Steelheart one. You know, I got like 100 CDs for like $10, and most of them were garbage, and most of them I just left somewhere and didn't really worry about too much. Coleman Hawkins, about to say Benny Carter. Coleman Hawkins, wow, I need to take a listen to this. Previously unreleased, digitally processed. Barry Harris, I mean, I don't recognize the players, but when I see a 17-minute long song, it makes me want to listen to it. I'm sure I picked this up in a thrift store somewhere. And, you know, like I say, I'm really into the Blue Note Prestige stuff, but when I see something like this, I get turned on. And that's neat that this is what it is. I can pop that in the car or something like that and listen to it and be happy. I'm glad I ran across that because I did not know that's what it was. 9 Inch Nails, Symphony for the Devil. Maybe it's a live thing. I'm not a big 9 Inch Nails fan. Industrial rock's not my thing. Naughty by Nature. Funny I pulled this out. I played OPP the other day. I think, yeah, OPP's on here. It's the 3rd song. I played that the other day on work. It was downloaded on my iPod. And somebody was talking about it. Hey, do you know what OPP is? I work with a bunch of millennials. Perfect timing. We're at 10 minutes. Let me break out the records.